Here, let me paint the picture for you, okay? here's the picture. You're in the middle of a recession, a recoup of a recession, just not too long ago. You are in a situation with a newborn. You left your wife. So Northern California, Southern California could be a 6 to 8 hour drive depending on where you go. So how the hell am I gonna pay for school? I have this duffel bag full of jewelry, and people think about jewelry as money, but it's not. You can't pay with jewelry. You can't buy food with jewelry. You can't unless you exchange it for cash. So the way I was able to get through school is because I had this aha moment. So everyone has these aha moments when they explain a story to you, right? And I remember when I was still in business with my sister, next door to us there was a warehouse of a man that was running a business. The business, I would always walk to the back and every day see FedEx and UPS and USPS pick up, truckloads worth of computer parts from this guy. But no one ever walked into the store at all. Like, I'd never seen anyone actually walk in. And I knew he was a smoker because I always see him smoke outside. So when he was smoking outside, I walked out and I just talked to him. I made an effort and talked to this guy. He was about maybe 20 years older than me at the time, or obviously still now, but. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, what do you do? And he said he sells computer parts. And I'm like, well, I don't see anyone walk in. I mean, how, and I see all these trucks come by. So it looks very suspicious to me. It's either this guy is kind of selling things through a back alley or he's doing something, right? And he just looks at me, he says one word. He says, eBay. And I said, eBay? Like, I've only bought a few things from this guy, right? I mean, not from this guy, from eBay. Like, and one time I actually got scammed from it, a long time ago. And how is it possible they could sell this stuff online? So he looks at me, he said, yeah, eBay. And I'm like, does it work? And he just looks at me and goes, try it. And that's all he said. And I didn't really, think about it too much, but then eventually I tried it. And I had this duffel bag full of jewelry. I posted online, and before you know it, it was 1 sale, 2 sales, 3 sales, 4 sales, and continue to multiply. And I just thought to myself, whoa, this whole online thing works, which is freaking crazy, right? Because I'm from a time where before the internet and after the internet, where I was still relatively young. So there's a time where I actually used to have to go to the library for a book report, right? These days, I don't think kids even know what a library is anymore. But that being said, I started listing stuff on eBay. And so when I was at GIA, a lot of my classmates probably don't even know if they're watching this, and hey, but I rented a small room in the back of someone's house to go to school. It was a very tiny room, probably smaller than this room, half of the size of this room, with a bed. And I had a duffel bag full of jewelry that I left under the bed. I made sure I locked the door, a bunch of locks, before I left every single day, because that's all we had. I mean, our whole life was in that bag, right? And I just listed a bunch of stuff at night on eBay, and during the day I went to school. And while I'm in school, I will be notified when someone buys something. So during lunchtime, I'll tell my friends, like, hey, I gotta go back home and do something. And I would just take off during lunchtime, but realistically what I was doing is I was preparing the shipments. Okay, printing out labels and stuff like that to ship. I had to do everything, customer service, sales, labels, and all that. And I made sure that I always took care of the customers. I always made sure I took care of the customers. So I always took the jewelry out of the duffel bag. I networked with local jewelers to make sure that they serviced the jewelry, polished it, cleaned it, boxed it, and all of that. So made sure that it was completely in pristine condition before it was shipped out. So I did things the right way, and that's how I was able to get through GIA. And it's such a crazy story. Now thinking back, I'm like, what am I thinking, right? I mean, it's insane to do something like that.
We basically were like a team, but we were almost tag teaming from SoCal to NorCal, because if he felt like there was a job that could not be serviced properly, he would not commit to doing anything down there. He would make sure, he would go, okay, I'm gonna buy a little bit more time with the customer because I wanna get it right, but I need you to receive it and then take it to our you know, the person that we trust as a jeweler, and we took care of it from here. And I had to do that knowing that he prepped me for the night before, he overnighted to me, and I went on my lunches to make sure I took care of those
This is while he was
services.
still in school, selling
Yeah.
on eBay.
Yeah.
And so
Instead of shipping to the customer, I'll ship it to her.
Yeah, because
So
there
that
was
she can run it to a jeweler that we trust.
better to do it the way that it needs to be done. So I know people don't know this, but yes, he lived out of a duffel bag, okay? And I don't even know what really was going on other than, okay, there's no time to waste. If he needs me to do something and I have to carve out time, I'm gonna have to make my schedule work where I can leave at lunch, go to wherever I need to go, process whatever I need to process, and finish it. So that, you know, I mean, that's just what you have to do. No one knows. Everybody thinks I'm going out to lunch all the time too, but that's not the case. And
so cool because he was doing the same thing. He was telling
Yeah.
everyone that you're going to lunch.
yeah, but a lot of times you're not eating.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's not like we have a lot of time these days, but you don't eat just because I'm running out on lunch. People think you're eating, but you don't have time to even squeeze that in. So I'm lucky if I made myself a sandwich that day. So that's the story of you know, me kind of coping with it. When it was getting closer to being done, you know, I'm checking in on him, and then we're always talking, trying to just make sure everything is still fine. He goes and he tells me he fails his test. I'm like, there's no way he would fail this test. He's the type of person that does not even matter what the problem is, it's just gonna get solved. It's gonna get done. So basically I'm like, oh my God, how could you like be so responsible and all these things, and you are not doing anything but, you know, studying down there. How could you fail this? Of course I'm not gonna make him feel bad, but I was like, oh, okay, so what do you do now? And I'm just like, what? I'm not gonna make him feel bad because it must be really hard, you know? And then he's like, yeah, so I'm at my friend's place, but I was supposed to go home, but because I can't, I'm just gonna have to study and then take the test again. And I was like, oh man, this sucks, but all right. But he wouldn't get off the phone. I was like, okay, fine, I'll just take whatever I can. If he's gonna talk to me, I'm gonna talk to him for as long as possible. And yeah, he never got off the phone for like hours, and I was just like, oh man, I'm kind of hungry now. It's like late at night. I'm kind of hungry. I wish, what did I say? I wish I had a Big Mac. And then like 5 minutes later, he actually showed up, rang the doorbell, and said he's home. He did pass, and he just wanted me to lie. He just wanted to lie to me to surprise me, and he stayed for like 5 days. That was the best. And then he had to leave. So it was like good, but then I could only be excited for like a second. It's like, because you have to go again. So that, I mean, I guess that's how long distance relationships are. It's like you get excited, but you know. But yeah, that was a period of time. And then when I came down to pick him up to go home, that was probably the happiest I've been in the year in a long time. But also, you know, I only can live that excitement for a small window, because guess what's next? We have to figure out what to do.
I came back home and I said, okay, well, I'm back to square one. We have half a duffel bag of jewelry now. I'm educated, but what do we do now?
Immediately, the second he came back, we had to think about what's next for the business.